I'm on the Sunshine Network with Jackie B.
This is Jackie Sunshine Smith, the boxing diva, and you're watching the Sunshine Boxing Show, the TKO talk show, because we only talk boxing. And today we're talking boxing in Orlando, Florida at the World Boxing Organization Convention. We're talking to Vice President Leon Panoncillo Jr. Did I pronounce that right?
That's right. That's correct, Jackie.
Good. Now, Leon, you're with a vice president, let's see, a sanctioning body, Asia, Pacific, Africa. Did I miss a continent?
Well, I handle Asia Pacific, Oriental, Africa, and China.
Okay. Now, that's a lot of territory. That's a lot of new territory, I understand, for the WBO. So tell us what's going on in China.
In China, basically, there's a promoter, of course, Top Rank, and Seka Promotion is basically trying to create professional fights in their country, and there's fighters from the amateur that is, trying to turn professional, and the only way they can do that is try to create a tournament, a league tournament for four rounders to develop their professional career and eventually vie for a title in China, basically.
And everyone's interested in that market because it's so huge. I mean, conquering that would be like a whole new world for boxing because of the population of China. I can imagine the pay-per-views. I did read Top Rank Bob Aaron was saying at one point, rather than go for pay-per-view on television, they would have it on the cell phone. So that sounds interesting.
Well, that's what I heard. They're trying to create a streaming pay-per-view for mobile network around China, and the population there, Jack, is huge. Sky's the limit on making. You can sell it for $1, and can you imagine how many devices there in China that they can work out of it?
Yes, and I must say, to digress, we first met, well, I saw you, and you remember seeing me in Macau at the Zhao Shiming fight, which was Top Rank's first fight over in, well, that's not really China, but in that area.
Yeah, I recognize you because of your flashy dress. I think you were wearing a flashy gold dress at that time. No, but yeah, Jackie, Top Rank finally came and did a big show with Zhou Ximing, the gold medalist, and that was their first big show with a gold medal achiever. So it's a start, and I think there's more possibility of other casino that is working with other promoters eventually going to do some bigger things in the future.
Yes, and since that time, I noticed even boxing in Hong Kong has picked up.
Yeah, there's a fighter by the name of Rex Chu. He's from Hong Kong, and he's a fighter that possibly will be a world champion eventually. But Hong Kong, Macau, are picking up, and Shanghai, where there's a lot of fighters now that is, producing out of gyms in that area are coming out of the woodwork.
Oh, okay. Now, in the culture, do you think boxing will be as popular in that region as it is in others, since it is, well, I guess with the mixed martial art and the UFC people, boxing coming in, because Bob Aaron shows seem to do really well in Macau. I know have they started the four rounders yet in mainland China?
They started in Beijing. They had some
Okay.
shows there already, but in Shanghai they have produced shows every 2 weeks that
Oh.
involves 48 fighters and two programs, 10 bouts per show. So there's a lot of fighters that is coming out of the woodwork in Shanghai.
And what about the following? That's what I mean, the audience appeal. What's going on there?
You know, the culture there. They're known as martial arts. They're involved with a lot of kung fu and Muay Thai. So they're already in the sports of combat. But eventually, I think that boxing will prevail because a lot of interested fighters from the amateur
Okay.
is emerging, and I think that Top Rank and Seka Promotion are eventually going to find more and more fighters, not only Zhou Ximing, but more fighters from different provinces in China. Eventually, will be a world champion.
Okay, now what does it take on your part to go in to help in the development for new areas for the WBO? I know India will be coming on board soon with boxing. What do you do to get it started there? And then tell us about some of what the sanction body does for those who don't understand what the sanction body does. I know they hear about the title fight and it's for a title, but some of them don't clearly understand because they get confused with what's going on. So maybe tell us what you do to develop your brand
Right.
in a certain area and what is the purpose of the sanctioning body.
Well, first of all, you need the fighters. Without the fighters, there's no boxing, Jackie.
Okay.
And yeah. Second of all, there have to be a boxing commission that would regulate and license fighters correctly.
Okay.
You know, there's promoters right now that does not have the credibility and it does not have the experience and knowledge of regulating fights, and they're just fighting. And you know, sometimes result can be decisive when a judge that doesn't know anything about judging is judging. One of the main thing is the welfare of the fighters, the welfare of each fighter participating. You must make sure that all these fighters, participants that is fighting, are taken care of. Without a commission or a regulator that would protect the fighters, there's going to be a lot of death involved. So we don't want that, Jackie. And my responsibility is to educate more and more officials, and then introduce our brand, which is the World Boxing Organization.
Okay.
We have created the WBO China national title. We have the League of Fists that is created for a grounds-up program where fighters from the amateur will participate, and the best of the best will proceed on going to the finals and eventually winning the WBO Greater China national title. So there's a system that I'm working with to make sure that the fighters that we are working with gets the opportunity to develop their skills, have more knowledge in fights, and they participate against each other to eventually move into a category where the finals meet in the position where they can vie for the title and eventually be ranked in the Asia Pacific.
Oh, okay. Interesting, because I hear a lot of fighters, once they've made it, say, oh, I don't need a title, da da da. But I'm like, who wants to watch you fight? If you're not a champion, that's what it's all about. And without the sanctioning body, like WBO, to say you are a champion, then you're just someone that's fighting, like on a journey without a destination, the way I look at it. So I don't know. I think they just talk that. They really want that title. They get it, and then they talk the trash.
I know.
Now, one thing I heard them talk about, we're at the WBO Convention here in Orlando, that you were 27 years old when you started, the youngest one on the executive committee.
Yes.
So how did you get started? What was your inspiration? Did you box?
Well, I was a amateur fighter.
Okay.
I did everything in the book, Jackie. I've been a trainer. I've been working with agents and promoters, and I got involved with Top Rank and Don King. So everything that you gotta love the sport, Jackie.
Yes.
And my family was basically involved in boxing, either managing, basically, sisters marrying a fighter, that kind of thing. So basically, it's in the blood, basically. So I got that experience from when I was 5 years old, going to fights with my uncles and my father who loves boxing. Basically, we're the knowledge have to be there. You gotta really know your thing. You can't learn this from going to school for sure.
Yes.
So it's all hands-on and getting experience from going to fights and uh, how I got involved with the World Boxing Organization is when I met Paco in 2000 I mean 19. I think it was 1995. I think was the first time that I met him. I think that there was the fight with Julio Cesar Chavez versus Oscar De La Hoya at Caesar's Palace in Vegas.
I watched it on pay-per-view.
So I was there. A person by the name of Joe Hernandez, who is a great friend of Paco, basically introduced me to him and says, "Hey, we don't have any WBO in Asia," and he says, "Would you be interested in, working with the WBO because we want to expand to the Asia Pacific Rim?" And since I'm based in Honolulu, Hawaii, where I was born and raised in Hawaii, so basically. I'm the closest one to the Asia Pacific Rim, so he appointed me and Mr. Danny Lee, who's a good friend of mine. They decided to create Asia Pacific organization. So it's a WBO Asia Pacific, and that was formed in 1995.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now you have on your card, I noticed you have an office in Hawaii and one in Bangkok.
That's great. Yeah.
So where do you spend most of your time?
One thing is you can't be traveling 12 hours each time every week. So Paco decided to have an office either in the Philippines or in Thailand. So I decided to pick Thailand. You been to Thailand before?
Yeah, I've been to Bangkok, the Labao Hotel.
Wow, it's beautiful. I love Thailand. I've been there now for 15 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have an office there where I operate. It's only 3 hours to the Philippines. From Thailand to Macau, it's only 3 hours. So everything is easy access from Thailand. So that's the reason why I picked there. So it's nice.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to be on the Sunshine Boxing Show. And when you said about education, that's part of what's going on here at the convention. I was in the judging seminar. Ooh, I did so horrible. I can't believe my name got called. He said, "I'm going to call you out if something is wrong on your card." Wow. So mine was the second one called. And
Really?
I was like, oh, no. I thought we were judging every minute instead of the rounds.
Really? Wow.
So my number was huge.
Wow.
But then I said, but I'm really a promoter. I'm not a judge. But then they said, oh, that's good because we've never had a promoter come in here and they need to come and learn so they can't say the judge wasn't fair, the judge didn't do it right. So I was surprised because I would think that everyone, that's why I'm here, to learn more in depth of what's going on, what did the referee, what happened with the judges, because I may sit there and watch the fight, but usually I'm sitting with the trainers and they're talking, so I'm like, oh, so I know what's going on because I'm listening to what they're saying and looking at what they're saying. Like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Because otherwise, I'm only thinking about the business aspects of the fight and not the technical fighting skills. I say, oh, I'll let the trainer determine that. But it's good to know everything involved.
Is that good? I mean, really getting hands-on on how judges think sometimes and it's educational. I mean, for yourself as a promoter, I think it's good practice to know what exactly how a judge is thinking sometimes.
And he was so good because he was speaking about the WBO standards of attire when going to the fight, the dress, and I'm like, okay. And then he was how some sanctioning bodies people would come in with shorts and a shirt, and the WBO person would have on if not the tuxedo and the bow tie or the black suit and the white shirt. And I'm saying, oh, that's nice because I like that. That really makes you seem like you have integrity anyway. You know what I mean? The attire speaks a lot about the person.
Makes you look professional on what you do, and you are respected among your peers and the promoter, because Jackie, sometimes on television, you got to look your best to show that your organization is respected in the right way. Walking in with shorts, of course, it doesn't look good on TV.
I know he didn't call out the name, but I was like, wow. So I did learn a lot just sitting in there, and eventually I did 3 more, and I got those right. I was so proud of myself.
No, I'm glad. Is this your first convention?
My first WBO convention.
Wow,
Yes.
that's great. That's great. It's really nice to have and finally see you here.
Yeah, I'm so excited. Look, I've been emailing you for 2 years trying to get talk about Vietnam.
Yes.
Finally, they're going to have boxing in Vietnam. So I'm going to try to use some resources over there and see if the WBO can get in there too, because that's an interesting market, and I think they would do well based on just what I saw 2 years ago when I was there looking at the females. The male fighters, it's funny because their female fighters seem to be stronger than the male fighters. And even they commented on that when we were over there.
Wow. Most of the Cambodians, the Vietnam, they're all into Muay Thai fights. So I kind of realized that because I live in Thailand, I see these fighters come in and out of Thai boxing gyms. So there is a lot of fighters, Muay Thai fighters, that eventually will turn into boxers. Yeah.
Well, I just I'm having a wonderful time here at the convention. I want to thank you for taking time, because I know you've been really, really busy. I see you talking every time everyone wants to get a piece of Leon.
Yeah, it's a pleasure, Jackie. And I'm very happy to see you here. And hopefully next year you'll be in Puerto Rico. That's where they're proposing. So, hopefully it's there.
All right. I hope to be there, too. Thank you so much for being on the Sunshine Boxing Show.
Thanks, Jackie. All right. Good.
The Boxing Diva, and you're watching the Sunshine Boxing Show, the TKO talk show, because we only talk boxing. And today we're talking boxing to Shahe Ali. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you, Jackie.
Good. Shahe Ali is the CEO of the Indian Professional Boxing Association, which is new. It's bringing boxing to India. Tell us about it.
It's the Indian Professional Boxing Association. We have just started in 2014.
Okay.
And on the same name, we have also organized an event in the month of May 2015. So we have coming up the new professional boxers. Earlier, it was just an amateur boxing in India. Now we have started a professional boxing. We are grooming and developing boxers and promoting in India to have the professional kind of boxing stuff.
Okay, so you'll be grooming the amateurs to become professionals.
Yes.
Now, I know we talked earlier, you said it's going to be privately sponsored and not by the government?
Yes, you are right. It's a privately sponsored. Basically, we look for sponsors, and sponsors will take care of everything, because government, like in India, they are not sponsoring and they are not funding actually.
Okay, but yet if they do well enough in the amateurs, they'll get to compete in the Olympics.
I'm sorry?
If they do well enough in the amateurs, you know how they compete and they're groomed and they go to the Olympics?
Yes, you are right. If the person, like any of the boxer, is good in the amateur boxings, they go for the Olympic.
Okay, and then so is the goal to maybe get them to the Olympics first and then turn them pro, which means they're already a world class fighter at that point? Or do you just want the ones who you can see that can turn pro early? Or how are you going to handle that?
Yes, you are right, Jackie. Actually, the person who is already good enough in amateur boxing, they go for the Olympics, and after that they have the right to become a professional boxers or not. But yes, we can offer them a good opportunity and the platform, so they can become a professional boxer. They can earn good amount of money as well, and plus definitely they can get the good name and fame.
Oh, good. Now tell us a little bit about your background and how you got involved with this project.
Oh, that's a great question, actually. Let me tell you one thing. First of all, I'm not a boxer, but since the childhood, I love boxing. So boxing is my passion, actually. And just because of that, we have just entered into the professional boxing, as I said, in 2014 only.
Okay.
So since the childhood, I was thinking about to become a boxer, but somehow the parents don't want to be I do boxing. So then I studied. Basically, I am a MBA finance, and I did my all the education qualification from the India itself, and I have been to so many countries in the world. I roam around for chilling out and doing the business works also, and then later on I realized if I do boxing as a passion, like which I have since the childhood, so we met some of our friends who are already a boxer in India, as well as some of the trainer and head coaches. Mr. Jai Singh is there, and my brother Shahe Ali is there. He's a good friend. They have did the same education from the same college, right? And we have some of the good trainers who are close to us. So basically, they motivate me again to at least when you have all the experience, you are going around the world, you can go and meet lots of people like who are doing the boxing. So then I tried to call first WBC and later on WBO. So I spoke to our WBO president, and later on he suggested me to go and meet Leon, because he is the chairman or vice president of Asia Pacific and China region. Yes. So and of course the India comes into the Asia only. Yes. So I personally go and met Mr. Leon and later on Mr. Denny. So they advised me and helped me out to become a promoter first. And then we are also having the planning to establish a commission that is called Professional Boxing Commission of India.
Okay. Now, your organization, the Indian Professional Boxing Association, will help train people who will be on the Indian Boxing Commission to regulate, or, like something like the government regulates. Will it just be your privately? Be privately funded, because you say it's not by the government? So in this case, I think that, it reminds me of something. I think Moscow is in Russia. They're the same way. They have several commissions. Yes. It's not like the U.S. where the states run the commission. I'm getting it now. I get it now. Okay, now I have a full picture of what it is. So you guys will actually regulate the boxing for people that want to fight under your banner.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, okay. I see that. Now that's really interesting. Do you have a gym facility already? Or are you going to build gyms in different areas? Or are you going to just I know you're in New Delhi.
Yes.
So will you just stay in the New Delhi area, or you build gyms all around the country?
As of now, what we guys are doing, actually, we have already opened a boxing academy.
Okay.
So it's not a gym, but yes, in future, definitely we will have the professional boxing gyms as well. Okay. But it's under the planning stage. So as on date, we have the professional boxing academy, which is in Mahendragarh, Haryana, which is very close to Delhi. Okay. And we are grooming all the boxers. We are training them. We have a very good coaches, good trainers over there. So who are training all the boxers. We have a very, also we are taking some of the juvenile and some kids and giving the good training, so later on they can become a good professional boxer.
Okay. Now at the academy, do they live there in the academy? Do you take them from other areas and bring them in and just let them go to school in that area while they're at the boxing academy, like a full scholarship type of environment?
Yes, we do have a hostel facilities also. Okay. And we are providing everything, like we are taking care of like foods and hostels and accommodation, each and everything. It's given by us only, because government is not sponsoring us. Government is not funding anymore. All because of that, it's not. Basically, it's not governing body who is governing the professional boxing, because the government of India is doing only, I can say, the amateur boxing.
Okay. So how do you decide who gets to be in your program? How is that decision made?
I can say like one of my brother, my elder brother, actually, he loves boxing as well. So
he decided.
He decided actually.
So it's
as
like
he's elder too.
so the fighters come in, maybe show their talent or skills, and then he says, come back next year.
And not in that way, but yes, you are right.
Interesting, interesting. It sounds like a really good program. So now, will they be competing in the Southeast Asia Games and all this? What other types? I know about the Southeast Asia Games. I've heard about them. What other type of regional activities, competitions do you have there?
Actually, as I said, professional boxing is very new to India.
Okay.
So we have just started a professional boxing. So we are not in the position to say right now anything about the boxing, because the amateur boxing, it's earlier it was doing with the under the IBA.
Okay.
IBA, it's International Amateur Boxing Associations, who affiliate the Indian boxing by the name of Indian Amateur Boxing Federation, and it got banned like for last couple of years. It was more than 3 years now, but they have now started a new company called Boxing India. So they are doing amateur boxing, and we are doing a professional boxing.
Okay.
So it's altogether, it's opposite, and it's a totally different organization, as well as the difference between the amateur boxing and
Yes,
professional
yes.
boxing.
And even with the judging, I found out there's a difference there.
Yeah.
Now, it sounds like a very interesting program. I'm excited. I'm so happy we met here at the WBO Convention.
Yeah.
Is there anything about the program you'd like to tell the audience that we haven't touched on? Have we covered just about everything there?
Yes, we have already covered everything, and I'm glad to WBO president who invited me here to attend the WBO convention, and I am also glad to thanks to Mr. Leon and Danny League who invited me.
Okay.
And once again, I'll thanks to Jackie already invited me here, and we are having a good time here in the WBO convention meet.
Yes, thank you so much, Shahe. And with the name Ali, you can't go wrong in boxing for sure.
The same, actually, the name of the Ali, like Muhammad Ali, it was a great champion.
Yes, that's why I say you can't go wrong.
My real father name is Muhammad Ali.
Oh my goodness, it was really, really good.
Of course, yes.
So I wish you nothing but success, and I look forward to seeing some of your fighters and
Of course, yes.
fighting
I will
under
invite
that
you.
banner.
Please come to India and just have a look what we guys are doing in India, because we are very heavy having a next event in the month of January or maybe of February the next coming year.
Okay. Well, thank you for being on the Sunshine Boxing Show.
Thank you so much, Aki. Thank you once again.
Bye.
Take care.
I'm on the Sunshine Network with Jackie B.